Welcome to another week of the Fertility Freak podcast. My name is Michelle Tillman, your fertility expert, and today I have an exciting story to share with one of my favorite clients, Ashley, and she's just going to tell us all about what God did in her life, how she navigated all the things that she was dealing with before she got to have her beautiful miracle baby. So tune in if you've ever dealt with any type of diagnosis and you want to know what are some of the things that are going to make things shift. This is definitely going to be one for you. So Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time out. Again, like I said before, you in the newborn trenches. So I totally understand how precious your time is. So I appreciate that. So first, can you share a little bit about your journey? Like before you were working with me, what are some of the challenges that you were facing with your reproductive health? And I know you had a previous loss in the past. And what are some of the things that, maybe your doctor told you or that you were dealing with?
Yes, thank you for having me, Michelle. It's good to see you. Thank you. But yes, some of the things that I was dealing with, of course, with all of the diagnosis, and it was kind of really confusing because they would tell me I had a diagnosis, but then at the end they'd be like, "But you're gonna have a baby." But I'm like, "Well, why haven't I had a child yet? Like, what's happening? You're telling me all of these things, telling me what to do, telling me what not to do, telling me it could be this, could be that. But then at the end of the day, you're like, but just hang in there. You're gonna have a baby." So it was kind of really confusing, but I just kept the faith because I knew I remember something that we said on one of the fertility calls that or doing Bible study that if God continues to put something on your heart, he wants you to have that. That's his desire for you to have it. So I always just kept that in the back of my mind. But that was just one of the things that was challenging to me. Like they gave me these diagnoses, but it was like a lot of the stuff wasn't severe. So it was kind of like, well, why am I still not pregnant? Why do I still not have my fertility baby?
Right. So what are some of the things that the diagnoses that they gave you?
Right. So I when I first had my loss back in I think it was 2020, they discovered I had fibroids. So they said they weren't big, but they say they were a good size, but not too big, but I had to get those removed. So then after I had those removed, they discovered that I had endometriosis. But they said it was a silent endometriosis because my periods and my menstrual cycles, they were not heavy, they were not painful. I usually didn't even have to take any medication for my cycles. So I was just a little confused about that. And then they would say, well, it could be the fibroids that's stopping you from having the kids, could be the endometriosis, even though it's silent. So I was just a little bit, those are some of my diagnoses that that they discovered for me.
Right. And so didn't they tell you something about one of your tubes as well?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I found that out a little bit later. The endometriosis and fibroids in the guinea. But then when I started going to a holistic gynecologist who I love and would recommend anybody to, she's the one who discovered that one of my tubes was blocked. She's holistic. She does incorporate science, but holistic as well. So I've spent a little more time with her than going to the traditional OBGYN office. So I would be at her office like 2 hours and we would be looking and talking about different things. But she's the one who discovered that my left tube was blocked. No one else had even tried to, look into that.
You know what? That is so interesting that you said that because that should be like a go-to
Mhm.
test in the beginning. What is the HSG saying? Or the sonogram, like saline talking. Like it's shocking that no one else decided to even thought, to
Right.
look for that. That should be one of the go-to tests. But I'm glad you did find that out. Okay, so you were dealing with fibroids, silent endometriosis, and then a blocked tube, and then you had
Yes.
experienced a loss, and so you said nothing was
Yes.
happening. So, okay, so you had been trying for some time after the loss. What made you decide, okay, you already had your holistic doctor. What made you decide, I want to invest in working with a fertility coach? Like, what were you hoping that you were going to, I mean, of course, you were hoping you were going to get pregnant, but like, what were you looking to get with the program? What made you decide that?
Well, actually, I never even thought about a fertility coach. I did one time, but it wasn't personal. She was in a different country. You had to make an appointment with her. But as I always say, love TikTok because TikTok has been my friend. That's where I discovered you, and it was just like I didn't give up on the fertility coach. It just wasn't on my mind after I had worked with somebody else. But then after looking at your videos and how you incorporate God and my spiritual aspect of trying to get pregnant pregnant, I was sold. So I was like, let me get on board, and I got on board.
Yes. Okay. So that is a really vital part that some people don't see as much importance in, um,
Mhm.
matching your community, your village, because you might have your OB, you might have your holistic doctor, you have your family and friends, but having someone of who can walk with you in a faith
Mhm.
sense about fertility, I think that really helps. And not just, about me, but in general, when someone's looking for help or community or coach to remind them how important having someone align with your faith is. So thank you for sharing that. So, okay. So I typically tell people this, and you're always my testimony for this. Like, okay, if you follow everything, my goal is for you to get pregnant, within like 6 months. That's what I'm
Mhm.
hoping for everyone. Okay, 6 months, you should be pregnant if you're
Mhm.
following all the things. And so for you, it took a little bit longer than the 6 months, so some people
Yeah.
might be like, "Oh, man, like, oh, I'm giving up. It's 6 months and it hasn't happened," but you did not give up, you did not give in, and there were some different, things that we walked through and recommended
Mhm.
for you to change. So what are you use, like, some holistic supplements and some other strategies we implemented. What do you think it was specifically, or what things do you think it was that really made you feel like it made the biggest difference in helping your body respond and ultimately get pregnant?
I will definitely say one thing that does come to mind, tracking my cycles where I had the temp drop. That was one of the things that really helped me a lot. I thought I kind of knew when I ovulated, which I was on the spot, but just like you said, sometimes month to month your ovulation day that you ovulate changes. So that was one of the things. And then the other thing was just trying not to, even though it's in the back of your head that you're trying to get pregnant, but just enjoying my husband. Because we joke and laugh that we believe that we know we got pregnant around my birthday on last year. I had a little birthday outing, I had a few drinks. So I felt as though even though we did have, intercourse around, ovulation time and the right time, we just didn't worry about it. Like, we kinda did it and just went on
Mm.
about our business, and then next thing we know, I took a test and it was, positive. But I do think helping to know when I ovulate, at least around a ballpark, and not just even a ballpark, but at least the day I know, it kinda helps me, to know when we should have intercourse.
Yes, that's really big. I definitely recommend a temp drop to everyone. Get you a temp drop because you don't have to worry about what time you wake up. It's always going to be there. So
Mhm.
that for sure. And then that
Right.
helps identify exactly, like you said, you know exactly when you ovulate. And I think you also were dealing with a shorter luteal phase on the second half, right?
Oh, yes.
And you were
Yes,
supplementing
yes,
with
yes.
progesterone.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes. So,
okay,
that was a
so
big deal too. A lot of people, a lot of, my doctors didn't even bring that up. Just like I said, the holistic doctor, the one who is the provider that brought that up. So I'm glad that she had me on the projection as well. So yes, that too.
yeah, I think that's a big thing that's really like going viral right now on TikTok. Like progesterone cream. Like I just took this progesterone cream, but if you need it, it absolutely makes the difference. Like
Yes.
especially if you've experienced loss, especially if you have a short luteal phase, that progesterone can literally change everything for everyone. Was there anything else that you feel like you did? As far as holistically, I think you may have taken supplements as well. What are some of the other things that you feel like you did?
Definitely the food thing helped. I felt like I was eating healthy and exercising because I was a big gym person before my miracle we got here. But I think just knowing what to eat and just when to eat. And I know and it come to mind to the fasting. Fasting from like what 10 that night to 10 the after 10 the next day. I can't remember exactly, but I know the fasting helped as well. In my opinion. And I did stick with that until, I got pregnant.
Right. Good. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, the food is big. Yeah, I remember like you would always be posting your food and I'm like, "Girl, you eat really well." Like I was almost like, "Okay, God, what are we doing cuz I need Ashley to be pregnant." So, yes, you did definitely eat well and are a gym girly, so that's cool. So, tell me about how did you feel, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but How did you
Mhm.
feel most supported, during your process of working with this?
Yes. So I was gonna so what I will say is you are very personable. Like you do check-ins, and I feel as though if we have a question, you answer our questions whether through email, and then if we do have, established that relationship that you and me have, a quick text or quick call, you're always there to answer a question. I feel as though you're very professional, but you're also personal as well. So I feel like that was one of the things that kind of another thing that kind of made me drawn to you and want to have you as my fertility coach because I feel as though you were just always there. Any questions we have, whether we saved them for our Tuesday calls or whether we reached out to you through email or just like I said, once we build that relationship with you, sending a text message, you were always there to answer questions. So I just like that and to pray for us too, because Lord have mercy. Everybody know this journey is not easy, but to have that prayer and just say, "Hey, Ashley, I'm thinking about you. I was in the grocery store," and you'll be like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you and I prayed for you." Listen, especially because a lot of times I would tell you, you will be right on time because either I was in a bad mood or, I went to the doctor and I feel like I was getting the same answers and the same answers to the questions that I mean, you were just right on time. That's all I gotta say. But I just feel as though we being able to be able to reach you and know that you're there for us and praying for us was another big selling point.
Thank you for that. Thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that. This is something I didn't send you ahead of time, but I just thought about it. You also had people in your life who had decided on a more medical route, through IVF and other
Oh
ways to
yeah.
get pregnant. And maybe even had a little encouragement from them, like, well, maybe you should just, do what we're doing. What
Mhm.
decide, you know what? I know that worked for you, but I think I want to stay on this natural path. Because we talked about that a little bit and I forgot about
Mhm.
that. But what made you decide, I'm going to still do this path, even though maybe on paper I should consider IVF?
Well, you know what? That is definitely God stopping me. My husband revealed to me right when we got pregnant, that God had told him that that wasn't the way we were supposed to go. He didn't say anything to me because he knows I'm stubborn and I kind of push
Wow.
back on things. And I questioned him a lot. Well, how do you know? Like, why do you not want to go through it? Sometimes he's not, a lot of times he's not doing that to make me feel bad, but he just says, sometimes he had to just keep things to himself, but block at the same time. So he revealed to me that that wasn't what God wanted for us to go through IVF. So I'm kind of glad. Well, I'm glad that we didn't because clearly that wasn't the way. But he's the one that kind of stopped me, even though I was the one who was kind of pressuring. I'm like, we can save, we can do this. He was the one that was like on the back end that I didn't even know, saying, "Yeah, we're not doing IVF. We're gonna do it like we're gonna get pregnant naturally." So he revealed that to me.
Wow, that's so good because first of all, having a husband who's a leader like that, okay, sly, I love it. But really, you also on the back end, sometimes on the front end, you don't know exactly why you
Mhm.
feel like maybe this is not what I should do. But now in
Mhm.
retrospective, you can see God just wasn't like pulling you guys in that direction. So, that's so amazing to hear. What do you think, how your faith, like, how did your faith play a role in your journey while you were in the wait and feeling, upset or having those bad days? How did your faith help you?
Yeah, just praying a lot. Asking God to give me patience because as I mentioned before in the beginning, I knew that it was his desire for me to have children. I didn't know when, I didn't know how they were gonna get here. But I just continued to pray and ask him to just give me patience and to, just give me comfort. And a lot of times, and I like to bring this up, sometimes we see other people with children, we get a little jealous or we get a little like, oh my God, when is it gonna be my time? But it came to the point where so many people were having kids around me that I didn't feel that pressure anymore. I know one of my good friends, she had a baby last year, and I mean, she wasn't even trying, but it was just the fact that I was so happy for her. But I said it all to say prayer and consistent praying and just being in that word like you told us to do, and spending time with him every day. That truly helped me to remain, confident knowing that he was going to bless us with our miracle baby.
Oh, yes. My heart is just warmed hearing you say that because I can just recall times where we'd be on a call. Um, 'Cause it was almost a year before you got pregnant, and I just recall other people getting pregnant in the group along the way, and the way you genuinely celebrated
Mhm.
them. Like, you know how sometimes you feel like when you're dealing with infertility, you feel like, I have to celebrate people because if, God's gonna get me next, I gotta celebrate them, like, this is a part of what I have to do. But for you, when you celebrated people, it was genuine, like, it was not forced, like, you were genuinely happy. And, of course, it is different when you know somebody was going through something to get
Yeah.
pregnant. It's different for that person versus someone who got pregnant without trying. But I felt the genuine joy of the Lord
Mhm.
you would celebrate other people, and that's something that really always stood out about you to me, the way you shared that joy and the way you also encouraged other ladies on the call.
Yeah.
Received encouragement, you've given encouragement, so I think that's one thing that speaks volumes about your character. And then how you said, spending time with God, really praying. And so sometimes
Mhm.
in the journey we get mad at God and we were like, okay, I'm tired of praying, I'm tired of reading my Bible. But knowing that that is a part of it and seeking Him. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. So how did you notice that your body started changing? So you said you were changing how you eat, you were, taking other supplements, you were like kind of intermittent fasting where you stop eating by a certain time and, leaving the
Mhm.
12-hour window. Like, was there any changes that you started to feel in your body before you got pregnant from the things that you were doing?
I'm gonna be honest, not really. I think because like I said, I was eating good and I was exercising, trying to, stay healthy outside of trying to have a baby or whatever. Because there's a lot of different things that I'm finding out that are in my family now, like high blood pressure,
Mhm.
diabetes, and things of that nature. So I was trying to maintain staying healthy, but no, I didn't really feel like a change. I mean, it was more on a spiritual side. It was just more of
Mhm.
like a burden was kind of lifting off of me. I mean, I can't explain it physically, but on spiritual side, it just felt as though like I'm walking, I'm doing the right thing. I'm walking the right path. This is what God has for me. So I mean, I just kept doing it. I can't really pinpoint anything physically, but
Yes.
spiritually, I just hung in there because I just felt like, I mean, everything felt right. I mean, if you want to get down to emotionally, everything
Mhm.
just felt right. Nothing felt like, oh, well, Michelle just telling me just to be telling me this, or I'm just doing this just to think that this is gonna happen. No, like everything just felt right. Even though, you have to stick to it and it's discipline and, being obedient, everything just felt right.
You know what? That's a really good point of what you made. And thank you for not just making up something just to say something, because that is an important thing that some people may not realize. You might not feel something different, but it doesn't mean that something's not shifting internally.
Correct.
So even if
Mhm.
you don't physically feel like, okay, well, I'm doing all things, I feel the same, like, it doesn't mean that God isn't shifting things spiritually, and it doesn't mean that physically things aren't shifting. So hats off to you. Thank you for being honest and saying that. But yeah, having being in the right place spiritually is definitely a vital part of this process, for sure. So tell me, what advice would you give to other women who are struggling with their fertility and feeling like, okay, I've already tried everything. Like, what advice would you give to that woman?
I would just say make sure that they have that relationship with God. I know sometimes me before I join, got on this, we'll start working with you. I feel like I had a good relationship with God, but I feel like it was kind of like on the surface. I'm gonna be honest. And, I would wake up,
Mm,
thank you God for another day, and then just go on about my business. But just spending time with Him in that morning time before I got up and brushed my teeth or whatever, just asking Him, what, how do you, I mean, what do you want me to do today? Am I doing? Is
mm,
everything that has been told to me? Because you will always say, we had any doubt, go to God about it. You know what I'm saying? Not that you would tell us something wrong, but if we had any reservations or anything, like go to God, ask Him to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. If that's His will, then what you're supposed to be doing. So just having that deeper relationship with God, like right now, it's just so mind blowing how He just blessed us. Like, I mean, I'm just, it brings me to tears every time because it was so unexpected. Like, I didn't know. I thought I knew when I was gonna get pregnant, but I didn't know. But I would just tell anybody, if you don't just remove pregnancy out of the equation right now, I would just tell them, just get on your knees, read your Bible, talk to God, talk to him like that's your friend. Tell him like, yes, I'm mad at the moment, but help me to remove this anger. Help me to move this depression. Help me to remove this anxiety that I'm feeling, that why am I not getting pregnant? My friend, my cousin, my sister, they're getting pregnant. Help me to remove all of that and just focus on him, as you told us on, doing Bible study. So I think that was one of the main thing that helped me. And I would tell that and give that advice to any other woman out there as well.
Okay, you in here preaching, ma'am. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Sometimes it's real easy to get in the flow of your day to
Mhm.
day and not actually. I love how you said, God, what do you want me to do today? That's
Mhm.
something that we really don't sit and reflect on and talk to Him like maybe God has some plans in your life. Like you said, maybe outside of trying to get pregnant. God, what are some
Mhm.
things that you want me to focus on in the meantime? Because didn't you like change jobs in the middle of this process?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a
You
promotion at work. Yes, I did. Yep. And that was something on my bucket list that I had been wanting for a long time, stressing my husband about. Why am I not getting promoted? I went to school for this. Why am I not in this position? And then lo and behold, June of last year, before that November when I got pregnant, I got a promotion at work. So yes, you hit that right on the nail.
Yes,
Yes.
being in alignment in all ways, because
Mhm.
sometimes we're so focused on the pregnancy, and not saying that you should not be focused on it
Right.
because it's kind of hard not to. I mean, you're always thinking about it, but also simultaneously digging deeper to hear what God has to say. That is so powerful, and I just feel like the Spirit of the Lord as you're talking. Like I just feel how you are so deeply connected with Christ, and that's just amazing. Okay, so, tell me, and this will be my last thing, and if you have anything else you want to add to your story, looking back, what are you most grateful for about this journey, and how has your life changed since getting pregnant and now welcoming your baby?
I would say just having a different outlook on life. Stop not trying to say that, you shouldn't put goals or want things to happen for yourself or the people around you, but just living life. Like I feel as though before I even, got married and all that kind of stuff, I'm always like a type A person. That's what I would say. Like, I'm always trying to plan to make sure things are right. Like, this should happen like this, like this, like this, but it doesn't happen like that. So I'm just trying to live in the moment now. Like, right now, like I tell people like my mom or my mother-in-law, they'll be like, oh, I can't wait till she do this and that. No, she's a baby. Let her stay a baby because she's not going to be a baby for a long time. Like, I want to enjoy these moments. So I'm trying to take that same advice as how I live my life as well. Like, let me just enjoy this maternity leave. Let me enjoy being on vacation. Let me just live in the moment. Like my husband always say, people's like, you guys didn't take any pictures. No, we're living in the moment. We're just trying to enjoy right now because time is so critical. It's so precious. And I just want to make sure that I'm living the life that God has allowed me to live until he calls me home. And I don't know when that is or, but I just want to make sure that I'm living this life that he's given me already. So that is one of the things that I'm so grateful for this journey before that I discovered before I got pregnant and now I'm living now after I had my our miracle baby.
Wow. Wow. It sounds like this journey has literally transformed how you look at life in
Mhm.
general. And I think it does do that for people. Like some people it doesn't, but like similar to me, it's like when you overcome something that medical professionals told you
Yep.
different from, like when you overcome something that you felt hopeless about and then you're on the other side of it, it's like you feel so empowered, you feel
Yep.
so fueled with faith, and your trust and your faith in God is so high. You can't help but expand your mind on how God can do the impossible. And so it just kind of
Right.
like puts this battery in your back. No, I'm gonna, like you said, live in this moment. Like she's not gonna
Yep.
be young forever. So let me just soak it up. I love that, Ashley. Wow. Just hearing like your whole perspective, like that's incredible because it's so it's so needed how this one shift in one area changes how you
Mhm.
look at everything. Okay, well, listen, that's all I have. I don't have any other questions unless you have anything else to share. So if y'all didn't hear this, like block one, block two, silent endometriosis. She experienced the loss, fibroids, and God shifted all of that. I
Yep.
mean, all of that, and she didn't give up, and she was being consistent for a year. She was already eating healthy. She was already working out. So sometimes, God just positions people in your
Mhm.
life and you got to keep pushing. So
Yep.
if I take anything from your story, like the video that I posted about your testimony on TikTok, like went viral about, the things that you dealt with. And they're like, oh my God, she got pregnant with it, with a block too. She got pregnant with fibroids. Like, oh my God. And so a lot of people like, you're so faith-filled. You don't sound sad. You don't sound like, you just sound like so like, I don't know how to explain it, but sure, your faith, you just brought me up. Like I was feeling kind of, sleepy. We was talking about earlier, but then you just brought me up. Like your energy, I just feel like God just has totally moved in your life and it's so amazing. So I hope everyone who is listening is encouraged by your story. Is there anything else you want to share before we close out?
No, I just wanna say they should say you should always give people their flowers while they're still here. So just like I said, I always tell you I'm grateful for you. I'm God is really using you, and I can't wait till you become this nurse, honey. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. If I'm not supposed to say that, take it out. But I'm just so grateful for you, and I know God is gonna use you. You're gonna continue to help a whole lot of women. I know that's not politically or grammatically correct, everybody, but you're gonna continue to help a whole lot of people. And I'm excited for people who are gonna work with you because not only are they gonna get pregnant, I pray that they are trying to get closer to God, and I know that they will if they put themselves out there and just, get up under his wing and continue to study his word.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I received those flowers. I receive it. Thank you for the encouragement. Cause yes, child, these anatomy and biology classes, oof, I'm like, okay, no, I got to pay attention. People like, oh, you could just rush through it and pass it. No, I need to understand. Like
Correct.
I'm
Yes,
trying to
ma'am.
understand everything. But
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
absolutely. When God just kind of showed me that direction, I was like, oh, you gotta be the change in the industry that there's problems in. Like, if
Yes.
you can't I can't do but so much from the outside, but if I'm in it, I can be the
Yes.
change maker in it, and I feel like God has definitely called me to that, so I'm definitely thank you for that. I can't wait to be able to help people on even a deeper level and just be that
Yes, ma'am.
light in a place where it may feel dark, and so thank you so much for those kind words. I really appreciate it. So everyone, thank you again. This has been an amazing episode of the Fertility Freak podcast, and if you are interested in getting the same type of help that Ashley did, I would absolutely love to learn more about you and work with you. There's a link to our free masterclass in the show notes of this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, in the YouTube link, make sure you jump in that class so you can learn more about our process so that you can get pregnant faster. And like Ashley said, and get closer to God in the
Yes.
process, because those things are totally linked together. The spiritual connection means everything. So thank you again, and we'll see you next week.